2 days ago, Anthropic announced that they built an AI that is so good at hacking that they're not releasing it to the public. And then their head of frontier red teaming said something which is kind of obvious, but no one had ever thought about this before, and we never had to think about this before, which is that if they have this now, even if they're not releasing it to people, within as little as 6 months, every other AI lab in the world is going to have these capabilities. That means China, that means malicious hacker groups, etc. So we're basically in this 6-month race. And this video is about what happens then and what to do about it. Now, so this whole story started as an accident. About 2 weeks ago, Anthropic accidentally leaked Mythos. I should put accidentally in quotes because there is speculation that they did it on purpose to get everybody really hyped up and also help them prepare for their IPO. Saying we just built something so good we can't release it to the public is a great way to get press. But the leaked documents referred to it as by far the most powerful AI model we've ever developed. And then recently Anthropic confirmed it was real and they're releasing it, but not to you or me. As for what makes Mythos different, there's basically 2 things. The first is simply how much better it is than current models, than say Claude Opus 4.6. And obviously these models are always getting better and better, but it's not just that it improved, it's that it's a step change. It's a whole nother level up in terms of how good this model is. But then the second thing is how good it is at finding and exploiting vulnerabilities. Basically how good it is at hacking. And Anthropic says they didn't train it for that. It just happened to be that way as it got smarter. That scares a lot of people. But once they realized what they had, they decided we can't release this to everyone. Instead, they gathered up a group of some of the biggest and most important companies in the world and we said, we're gonna give you access to it. Use this to find holes in the world's companies before the bad guys do. So the bad guys are gonna get it soon. We have a little bit of a head start. Let's make sure we can protect the world. It's pretty crazy when you think about it. The companies in there, they're called the defenders, include ones like Amazon, Nvidia, Google, Microsoft, and CrowdStrike. Basically all the heavy hitters. So how good is Mythos actually? Well, it turns out we have data on this because this was leaked as well. So in one common hacking test where AIs are given a known security vulnerability, like a known gap in the system, and then asked to exploit it to actually turn this into attack. The previous best Claude model, which is Opus 4.6, out of several hundred tries, succeeded just twice. Mythos succeeded 181 times. That's nuts. And then there's a broader security benchmark called CyberGym that basically scores how well a model can reproduce a real world hack. So Opus 4.6 scored 66.6%. Mythos scored 83.1%. And then on overall coding ability, which is commonly measured with the SWE bench score, Mythos hit 93.9%, whereas Opus 4.6 hit 80.8%. If you don't care about all those numbers or they mean nothing to you, don't worry, just know Mythos is cracked. It's really good. That's why everybody is freaking out right now. But then as the Anthropic team is sitting in their lab, I imagine they're like in the dark and they're all wearing hoodies and stuff and they're testing this model out. There's a couple crazy things that happened. So first, one of the most secure operating systems in the world is called OpenBSD. The military runs a bunch of stuff on it, government runs a bunch of stuff on it because it's very secure. And when they pointed Mythos at it, it found a hidden flaw that had just been sitting there since 1998. You have to understand, researchers had run tons of tests over time on OpenBSD, but Mythos went in, just found it. And it didn't need to do anything special to actually exploit this. It just connects to the machine, sends a little packet of data over the internet, and every single system that runs this is shut down. That's nuts. Then, if you have ever watched YouTube or streamed Netflix or joined a Zoom call, you have almost guaranteed used something called FFmpeg. You don't know that you used it, that's okay, you probably never heard of it, but it's a piece of software that helps videos render. So all the big platforms use it. Now, automated security tools have tested FFmpeg more than 5 million times. Like I said, so many things run on it, it's really important. But Mythos read through its code, understood the logic of it at a deeper level than any of those automated checks, and found a bug in that had been there for 16 years. Lastly, Linux is the operating system that runs a huge chunk of the world's infrastructure. It's another one of those ones that if you're not technical, you probably don't spend a ton of time thinking about, but it's foundational to the internet. But Mythos, after the first prompt, was able to find a bunch of very small security vulnerabilities within the Linux kernel, and then string those together to exploit it to get access to any system that is running Linux. Now, given how impressive Mythos is, people start to think about When else can others get access to this? And Anthropic's head of frontier red teaming, so the guy who's in charge of like running all this stuff, making sure Mythos is safe, pointed out that even though Anthropic isn't going to release this right now, other AI companies are working on things extremely similar. OpenAI has a system like this that they're developing right now. It's rumored that Google has something pretty similar in the works too. So he said that within 6 to 18 months, these capabilities are going to be widespread. And he specifically said the security industry needs to understand that these capabilities may come soon. And of course, it's totally cool if Anthropic has developed this and they're keeping it safe and they're just using it to make their own code better, whatever. But once it's released, there's two groups people are really worried about. One is any sort of hacker group. And not even just hacker groups, because you can have, these big coordinated efforts that run these ransomware attacks and other major attacks, like corporations try to get millions of dollars. That's one thing. But now you can have just Joe Schmo in his basement deciding that he wants to try to attack some little business and extort them to get, $5,000 here, $10,000 here. That sort of stuff was hard to do before. Like you had to be really smart at hacking to pull that off. And so it just wasn't that worth it. But now basically anybody can do it. Imagine you just type into Claude like, hey, hack this company, pull all their user data, send it. That's what we're talking about. Obviously Claude would restrict that within Mythos, like they set up guardrails, but there are ways to get around those with other open source tools and things like that. But the other big one that people are worried about is China. And here it's not just theoretical. In September of 2025, Anthropic's team discovered that Chinese state-sponsored actors had used Claude to try and attack 30 different companies within the US. Not Mythos, just the regular publicly available Claude. This was tech companies, financial institutions, chemical manufacturers, government-adjacent agencies. The attack was 80 to 90% automated. And Anthropic confirmed it was the first case that we know of a large-scale cyber attack run mostly by AI. So if that's with regular Claude, the one that succeeded 2 out of many hundreds of times, think of what they could do with Mythos, which succeeded 181 times. But they don't even need Mythos specifically. China is almost guaranteed developing something just like this right now. Now we do have a little bit of a runway. Most estimates put China's AI development roughly 6 to 12 months behind the US frontier lab. I believe the average estimate is about 7 months. But that's also for publicly released models. Mythos is not publicly released yet. So you could maybe say Mythos is another 6 months ahead. So call that 12 to 18 months that we have as a head start on Chinese AI companies. Now, I feel like this video kind of got dark. I really don't mean it like that, but practically, what should you do based off of this? The main thing is developing AI literacy. As more and more people start to use AI maliciously, it becomes more and more valuable to know how to use it for good, to protect against it. Now, I'm not saying you or I need to become like an AI cybersecurity expert. I will leave that to people who are much smarter. But in any company, in anything you're building, there are issues related to that. Most people aren't thinking about them. But if you are the one who are, you automatically set yourself apart. And then, to be honest, the bigger thing isn't about what you do personally. It's about paying attention to the bigger picture. We're essentially in this 6 to 18 month race. Personally, I think it's fascinating to see what happens. It's also kind of scary, but I very much believe things will work out okay. It makes me think of, there's some quote, I believe it's, luck is when opportunity meets the prepared mind. And that's what we're setting ourselves up for here. We have the opportunity to be the prepared mind. I would take it.